Russell Wilson potentially out for week one. This is becoming a very complicated situation, and my early guess is that the fact that he's visiting with doctors, never a good sign for a player to avoid a long-term injury. This calf injury is concerning. It keeps kind of staying put or coming back, however you want to word it, and calf injuries are oftentimes, as we'll talk about with McCaffrey in a second, something that could lead to potential Achilles issues, and we're going to break that down for CMC and both Russell Wilson. We've got Hopkins' MCL tear that we got to talk about. He's going to play, through it, but this is an injury that he himself has said this is going to take maybe a year to get fully over, and he's an older player. So the odds of Ridley getting solo starts, if you will, without Hopkins, the odds are extremely high. Ridley's going to be a phenomenal player to have on your roster as your wide receiver 3 in 2024. We're going to go over that. And then, of course, Jamar Chase. What's the status and update with Jamar Chase? And we have a few other pieces of news to discuss. The Fantasy Football Show early morning breaking news edition begins right now. File on in.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com news desk, here is your breaking news.
So we've got definitely some news to go over today. A lot of week one impacting stuff. Alex, appreciate the early morning super chat. Absolutely love early morning content. Attaboy. Put your AirPods in, and let's get that 50% productivity down to about 40 as we have a good hour sesh right here. Okay, so let's crank those numbers down. Dallas upgraded his membership to priority comments. I love to see that. Dallas, appreciate you. Look, let's start with Russell Wilson, and this will lead into Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey has the Achilles/calf or calf/Achilles, however you want to designate it. It's a concern, and we'll talk about why the Achilles is popping up now. It doesn't mean that there's any further injury. It just means it's being designated that, and I'll go over that in a second. But let's start off with Russell Wilson. Very, 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 very intriguing situation here, because if you remember correctly, your boy Smitty has the waiver wire show. This is the pre-week one waiver wire. As you can see, pre-week one. I haven't touched it. I'm not going to edit this. This is what it is. It's for record. It looks like a Picasso, a masterpiece, an unbelievable painting. Maybe it needs to become an NFT. This right here, likely. Congrats to everybody that took advantage of that.
Let's go! Mashed potatoes!
Yeah, buddy.
Congrats to everybody that took advantage of that situation, because it was sitting there on the board waiting to be had. Right in your kung fu grip. Likely. Don't leave him out there, I said. Wright, Ford, Chase Brown, Braylon Allen, Mitchell, 80 Mitchell. This could be the poor man's version of Worthy this week. Wicks is a great play as well. We've got a lot of talent on this board. And the reason we're here is this Justin Fields right here. He's been sitting there. Nix as well. Nix is going to have a good week, and then everyone's going to want to put in a waiver claim for Nix. Penix Jr. shouldn't be sitting out there if you're in need of a QB. And Taysom Hill, who's QB and tight end eligible. This is a great-looking preemptive week one board. It really is. Probably one of the better preemptive week one waiver wire boards I've ever assembled, because there's so much talent sitting out there. And not everybody has this situation. I get it. Not everybody has... 2-month membership question. Should I give up on Andrews? Give up on Andrews, Diego? I don't know about give up on Andrews, but is this something that we saw coming? Look, he's an injury-prone player that hasn't shaken the injury label and may not even be the same player anymore, even if he is able to stay healthy. So I don't know if I give up on him, like drop him, no, but like trade him, creatively trade him in a 2-for-1. Yeah, I probably would. Russell Wilson, who is dealing with this calf injury that won't go away. This is extremely concerning. Calf injury. Aaron Rodgers had a calf injury. Remember, he wore the sleeve on his calf. Everybody's like, what's that about? Then he tears his Achilles. Greenlaw stepping onto the field and just running forward slightly, tears his Achilles. Achilles are becoming a problem. And Achilles injuries are not like ACL injuries. We talked about this last night, where in the case of like an ACL tear, you're tearing it on, you're cutting wrong, and you snap the ACL. This is your knee. Your knee bends obviously like this. That's your patellar tendon on the front. On the side, you have your LCL. On the other side, you have your MCL. And you have the meniscus padding in the middle. And the ACL and PCL are in the middle of the knee. I'll turn the model around. You can see the ACL and PCL crossing each other. But that is the center of the knee. The model just shows it. It's not like they're on the back. When you tear your ACL, your knee typically in football goes this direction, or if you're Nick Chubb, it goes like that. But this knee, it goes, you can see how the ACL would snap, right? But when you do that, you're pinching the meniscus, you're stretching the LCL, or in the other case, going the other direction, you're stretching the MCL. You can see this sucker stretching. You're pinching this meniscus in this corner. You're tearing the whole knee up. J.K. Dobbins destroyed his knee. He had a hamstring tear in it, multiple ligament tear. Nick Chubb had his completely demolished when it did a complete right angle this way. Just snapped to the side, right? They had to do a surgery to repair it and then do a second surgery to repair his ACL. That's why I don't expect much out of Nick Chubb ever again. But in the case of an ACL tear, it's like, boom, the ACL gets torn. It's a freak injury. Helmet hits the knee. Player's leg gets caught in the turf, and then they snap it. With an Achilles injury, which oftentimes a calf injury turns into an Achilles, how does it do that? Well, on the back of your leg, if you reach down and kind of put your right above your heel, you can feel that what feels like a cord on your leg. That's your Achilles tendon, and it goes up and turns into your calf. And if you have a lower calf injury, it's technically called an Achilles tear or a calf Achilles injury, and that's where this Christian McCaffrey news came from. It wasn't like he re-injured or they reassessed it or they sent him back to a doctor and they're like, oh my God, you got an Achilles injury. This is something that they didn't put on the books yet. But with the injury designations the way that they are now in the NFL, when you end up putting somebody on the injury report, you have to be specific and be clear and be honest. And so this is something they may have held back from us for a little while. You might say, well, it sounds like he's good, Smitty. He practiced in a limited fashion, as this report suggests. Christian McCaffrey, this is yesterday. Calf, Achilles will be limited in Thursday's practice. He was limited in Thursday's practice, but he did practice. He is out there. So things didn't get progressively worse or anything with Christian McCaffrey as they did with Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson's isn't going away. Russell Wilson woke up with this one day. He just woke up. First day for camp. He wakes up and he has soreness and a calf tear. I don't know if he was worried about it the night before, was kicking his legs around and injured himself, but he has a calf injury, and this calf injury has not gone away. Are we worried about McCaffrey's doing the same thing? I am. He's 28 years old, long injury history. Yes, he's kind of shaken free some of that in the last 2 seasons, but he was banged up a good amount last year. And if anybody had Christian McCaffrey in 2023 last season, you know that in week 17, he did leave you hanging when he sat out the entire second half. There is concern that Christian McCaffrey at 28 years old with a calf injury that is being now designated, being informed to us, it's being told to us that this is a lower calf injury where the calf and the Achilles are kind of, it's right where that turns into the Achilles tendon. So it's a high Achilles tendon, a low calf injury. It's concerning to know that this is what he's been dealing with. It's not like it's new, but we're like, this is not just a calf strain in the meaty part of the calf, which is a problem. Calf injuries are nasty, but the Achilles part is a very big concern. And as I was saying with the knee, why did I go off on the tangent on the ACL? Is that the ACL is a random, act of your knees, hyperextending or going to the side and snapping the ACL. in a very awkward but random kind of way, usually in the NFL. The Achilles tendon is something that you could be abusing this over a long period of time, and it's not like it's easy to see coming. I do think someday in the NFL they'll do preemptive measures, MRIs, things to try and figure out how strong someone's Achilles tendon is. Is it vulnerable? Like Greenlaw's, if you could have went in during the Super Bowl when Greenlaw, the Niner player that ran out onto the field, just tore it running out onto the field, if you could have looked at his Achilles tendon, what would it have looked like? I think it's a costly, endeavor to keep tabs on players' Achilles tendons, but this is something where it's like you wonder what is the condition of it. And sometimes a player tears their Achilles tendon over a long period of time of compensation in the way that their heel touches the ground first instead of being on the balls of their feet. There's a lot of reasons for it. And so the reason I'm talking about ACLs versus Achilles is that this is not something where we're like, oh, it's a random freak thing. There's reasons behind being concerned about Achilles tears for older players that have put significant mileage on their Achilles tendons, that have put significant mileage on their bodies, and they're suffering with the calf strain. There's a tear in the calf. It's called a calf strain. People think, oh, it's like a cramp. No, there's a tear. How bad is the tear? It's probably small. We think it's small. We don't know. We weren't aware that this was an Achilles calf injury. We just thought maybe it was the meaty part of the calf, little calf soreness. But now we're being told where this injury actually is located. It's concerning. Is he going to play week number 1? Yes, he will. Is he going to break down at some point during the season? I believe there's a very strong chance of it. And just like I told you last night before Derrick Henry scored his touchdown, I'm a little worried about him. And I don't know that I want to own Derrick Henry in 2024. And then he scored a touchdown, and everyone's like, what do you think about it now? But then the game went on. We started to see Derrick Henry get replaced. He was fighting for touches with Justice Hill, who became clearly the main PPR guy, the only PPR guy. Derrick Henry caught 0 passes. Targeted twice, 0 passes. The depth of target on Lamar Jackson's passes were negative practically. And this is a concerning offense. I said it last night. People going, how can you put Lamar Jackson in the panic chamber? And I did last night. I put Lamar in the panic chamber. And for people that don't understand the concept of the panic chamber, it doesn't always mean that they're a total and utter bust. It means that these players are concerns. Sometimes we buy them. Sometimes, like in the case of Travis Kelce, and Kelce's name is in here. Kelce's in there. Andrews is in there. Derrick Henry's in there. Sometimes in the case of, like, let's say Kyron Williams is returning punts and he goes in the panic chamber and we put him in there. And we say he's in there, not for us, but he's in there in the eyes of many, in the eyes of most. Let's not close the panic chamber. Let's call Kyron Williams safe.
You are safe.
And he was safe. And we took advantage of it. We laughed at people because he was in the panic chamber. The panic chamber isn't necessarily always our concern and our angle. Sometimes it is the perception of the player. So Kelce isn't somebody that we just run from. We get rid of. We don't consider buying low. We don't consider the matchup. We don't consider the fact that Mahomes and the entire offense, there was struggles with drops and there wasn't as much goal line or end zone potential targets that could have went in the direction of Kelce. Kelce could have very much had a touchdown and 40 yards had there not been a couple of those plays go down the way that they went down. A la the run that was called back by Mahomes, it was like a 40-yard run, would have potentially put the Chiefs in a scoring position differently than they were, and it could have been a touchdown strike to Travis Kelce. I am in the business of maybe buying low on Kelce if the price is right. I'm not in the business of buying low on Derrick Henry if the price is right, and I'm certainly in the business of getting rid of him if I can get rid of him in any sort of safe value, safe way at all to salvage what I spent in cost of entry wise. But I don't really own Henry because I didn't really want to go in this direction. He's a 30-year-old player, looks very sluggish, and now he's being replaced by a running back that looked pretty good. Even though we don't love Justice Hill from a long-term perspective, he was very, very efficient, looked very good, and he's taken over the PPR work and might be considered by many today, the day after. Sometimes we overreact to stuff, but feels like maybe more of the one than Derrick Henry. And Derrick Henry's going to have a chance to redeem himself in a better matchup next week, but he does look very sluggish. I think he can still fall into the end zone 10 to 12 times on 800, 900 rushing yards on the year, have kind of a mediocre rushing season with good touchdown production, but he could also get injured because he's 30 years old and he looks very sluggish. And Lamar, the reason I'm even coming over to the panic chamber is Lamar Jackson is a concern. He is in the panic chamber. You shouldn't give up on him. You shouldn't give him away for a ham sandwich. I'm not saying he can't be a top 6 quarterback per start, but he was running for his life. And that offensive line was collapsing. It's one of the bottom 5 or 6 offensive lines in the National Football League. Lost a lot of pieces. It went from one of the best in the NFL to one of the worst in the NFL in an offseason. And you can tell they were trying to mask everything that was going wrong. Lamar was outside the pocket. He was rolling out there, getting him the hell out of Dodge so he didn't get injured. And the fact that he lost 10 pounds and he's scrambling for his life and he can't find open receivers, he's overthrowing the receivers that are open, there's concern. Like, let's not act like because Lamar ran for 100 yards, you're acting like Lamar's not somebody you should be panicking on. Oh my God, there's so much like LMAFO, Smitty on the ground rolling around like laughing emojis, double crying emojis. Can't believe Smitty says that you should maybe be panicking on Lamar who just ran for 100 yards. Did you not see what I saw? There's panic. And the reason I dipped into that, I don't even know why I got into that topic. I'm sidetracking myself again. But we're here back talking about 2 panic chamber players. That's probably why I went in that direction. Christian McCaffrey's in the panic chamber. I think this is what I was trying to say. He's in the panic chamber. No doubt about it. Does that mean we're giving up on him? We're closing the door. We're getting rid of him for a ham sandwich? No. I do think you need to cuff him at near almost all costs. You do need to, whether you like this information or not. This may not tickle your fancy, Steve or Bob, but you need to have both backup running backs. If you don't, then you are going to be potentially up crap creek without a paddle because you've got Mason, potentially the now cuff who's injury prone, and Garendo, the later on cuff once Mason probably gets injured, and you're stuck without the actual backup in Garendo if CMC gets injured later. And if he gets injured now or the calf injury kind of lurks and rears its ugly head again for a week or two, all of a sudden Mason's in there starting. You don't have the luxury of trying to cuff one of these San Francisco running backs to one of the top 5 cuffing situations in fantasy football. And if you say to me, Smitty, nobody can cuff put 3 players together, you are out of your mind. You've got 3 players right here. You've got 3 players right here. I've never heard such blasphemy in my life. The cookie cutter YouTube channels would never suggest this. Well, the cookie YouTube channels, the cookie cutter YouTube channels, the cookie channels too, none of them are going to think like this channel. And I don't care. I'm not apologetic about it. I don't care if anybody thinks that this is a wild, unplugged show. Oh my God, this guy's saying to grab all 3 of these backs and all 3 of these backs. You have no business drafting Christian McCaffrey walking into the season with a calf injury if you don't have the roster space. You play in a small bench league where you only can have 2 bench running backs. You have no business drafting a guy like Christian McCaffrey that has a calf injury. So here we are, panic chamber territory for this man, Christian McCaffrey. And even though he's there, we're not giving up on him. Even though he's there, he could still have a huge week 1. So Steve is watching him right now. Steve's not listening. Worried William, Petrified Peter, Angry Angus, Upset Unger, all of you are watching right now and you're not hearing Smitty. You're listening to Smitty, but you're not hearing Smitty. Am I suggesting that Christian McCaffrey isn't going to ball out per start? Essentially, maybe having a top 1 to 3 running back campaign in the entirety of the first half of the season, or in week 1 be the number 1 running back, have 3 touchdowns and 110 total yards. Is that all possible? Yes. And will Worried William and Angry Angus and Upset Unger file into the next live stream that corresponds with that game in production and say, Smitty, how you feeling now? I bet you feel pretty stupid that Christian McCaffrey went nuts and you went live talking about his calf. I'm not going to feel bad at all. I'm going to tell you, you didn't tell me. I told you. No one's saying that Christian McCaffrey per start isn't going to absolutely ball. We're here to say that his calf/Achilles is a big fat concern, and you better be damn sure you've got Mason and Garendo. That's what my message is. If you think I'm saying anything other than that, if you think I'm saying McCaffrey is going to be bad in week 1, if you think I'm saying McCaffrey is going downhill in that I've visually seen it, you aren't listening to what I'm saying. McCaffrey is going to ball out for as long as he can stay healthy. That's the only thing I can tell you. Will he get injured in week 10, week 14, week number 4? Will he be a top 1 to 2 overall running back for 10 straight weeks, then leave you hanging in week 11? I can't tell you any of that. I can only tell you there is a high likelihood he misses not 1 or 2 games, but a handful of games, because the last time he was fed the amount of workload he was fed last year, he was injured for 2 seasons. He's now 28 years old with a calf/Achilles injury. And back on the Russell Wilson, because I sidetracked myself. Russell Wilson, if I had to guess, and maybe they throw him out there in week number 1, there's certainly that possibility that he does go out there in week number 1, because it did seem like Fields was going to win the job, and then all of a sudden they gave it to Russell Wilson. So I feel like Tomlin and the Steelers are potentially one of those teams that are hard to predict in some ways. So it wouldn't shock me if Russ went out there, and maybe they aren't being completely honest with everything. Maybe they are actually holding back some more brutal news, like he's seeing multiple doctors. That oftentimes leads to something crazy. This could go in 100 different directions. But usually when a player is meeting with multiple doctors, there's probably a greater problem that is being conveyed to the media. Therefore, my early guess, and this is a guess, is that Justin Fields will be starting week number 1. And if he's out there, I've pretty much made it as clear as I can possibly make it that we have one of the best pickups of the preemptive week 1 waiver wire type of situation here in Justin Fields. And if you come crawling to the live stream on Sunday evening, because the waiver wire show airs immediately after the Thursday night football game every single Sunday night. We do it right away. I know there's a Monday game, but we do it right away because that's how we roll. And I also reference it throughout the week. So if something changes during the show, I'll pull it up. The waiver wire show isn't just Sunday night. It's every night. It's every single night. It's whenever I press the button. So, on that note, I will tell you this. If Fields is out there, I'll still help you Sunday evening if you come crawling in here and say, Smitty, I didn't pick up Bo Nix. Smitty, I didn't pick up Justin Fields. Smitty, I didn't pick up Jalen Wright. Smitty, I didn't pick up Jerome Ford. Smitty, Chase Brown was out there. I messed up. I didn't pick him up. I'll be here to help you. I will be here to help save the day, because I work for you at the end of the day. And that's all that matters. But I'm going to tell you right now, Justin Fields probably leaning toward potentially playing week number 1, which is fantastic. And guess what? Once he gets the job, I don't know that he's surrendering it back to Russell Wilson. Why? Because all these people that have team names after Justin Fields, what are they going to do if they return to Justin Fields? Here's some of those team names that you can change your team to if you've got Justin Fields.
Leave it on the fields.
Just in time.
Fields of dreams.
Feels like making love.
Outstanding in his fields.
Feels so good.
Fields General.
I feels good. Uneven playing fields.
Battlefields tested.
Fields. He's for reals.
And for those that don't know, Justin Fields, when he starts, stop bringing he's a bad NFL quarterback to the table. No one cares. No one cares about what you're going to say about that. Oh, Justin Fields, he doesn't know how to read it. No one cares. No one cares. Cool story. When Justin Fields is in the lineup, guess what he does? He produces top 5 QB numbers in fantasy. That's all that matters. Your cool story doesn't mean anything to me. You're wasting our time. Stop saying it. No one cares. Yeah, AR5 and Fields are the two quarterbacks in the NFL that feel like maybe the fantasy value doesn't correlate to the NFL value. I get it. Very, very awesome. Congratulations. We're here to talk about reality. And reality is, if you need a QB, especially if you're in a super flex league and Justin Fields is out there, your mother's going to be ashamed of you if you don't pick him up right now. If you walk into the Sunday evening show. When do we do the waiver wire show, everyone? Please say in the chat. We do the waiver wire show when? Immediately after the Sunday night football game. Literally when the clock hits zero. When it hits zero, your boy hits live. When there's 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes left in the game, your boy's got the video already up and the chat going, and I just wait till I hit the live button. That's what we do. Waiver wire every single Sunday, right when the game ends. We hit it first. We hit it first, just like Likely hit it first. Just like we put Likely on this top of this list. This is unedited pre-week one waiver wire, by the way. I have a feeling that we're going to have potential league winners on this side of the fence too. I really think that they're an uncomfortable amount of Jalen Wright and Jerome Ford and Chase Brown and Braylon Allen shares out there, and Davis as well, Ray Davis as well, and the Mason Garendo. I do regret not having Hill on this list. That's on me. That is on me. I apologize for that. BT, we have BT on the wide receiver list, do we not? I can't add it now, but if BT's out there, he shouldn't be. He was drafted in so many leagues. Maybe he's out there in an uncomfortable amount of leagues. If he is, you got to grab BT. Of course, BT. But I don't want to touch this list now because it's locked in. But definitely BT. So I'll get to the super chats in 1 second. Russell Wilson, we'll have more on this, but expect the news to probably get worse. In terms of the Jamar Chase situation, it's not something that we can really say one way or another whether he's gonna have some sort of weird "I'm not playing now" mentality. I keep refreshing X because he's been showing up to practice. He's going to practice. I think he's going in good faith to practice. I think the reason why he was holding in, then he started to practice, then he didn't show up to practice one day, and everyone's like, oh my God, he's holding out again. I think because it probably went in some direction where he was being told, we're going to take care of it, and then he didn't feel like they were taking care of it, or he didn't feel the sense of urgency. So he said, let me shock the monkey, and let me literally give them a jolt and say, I'm not coming in to work today because you're not doing your job. You're not doing your job, Bengal brass. You're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. You're not doing what you said you'd do. So Jamar Chase kind of gave him a little bit of a shock. And now Jamar Chase is back at practice. Seems like he's going to play. But even Ian Rappaport has said there's no guarantee. There's no guarantee that this man isn't going to pull the plug again if they don't end up locking and honing in on a deal. Now, my guess is, this is my guess, we hear something today or tomorrow and he gets inked and this thing ends up happening and we're watching this guy hit the field and we're enamored by the fact that he scores a touchdown and has 90 yards in his first game back without any sort of, he's back at practice, but like, hey, how the hell did he do this? The reason he's at practice is in case, and this is smart. This is really smart. Even if he decides to hold out week one, he is saying to everybody, I'm young. I'm not worried about injuring myself, which is cool, and he's out there being prepared so that if he does sign the deal, he's not like Ayuk, where he's been standing around in his white t-shirt and his backpack and his off the field gear and just being complete cold turkey about it. This guy, Jamar Chase, is literally saying, I'm going to stay well-oiled and tuned up and ready to go. And if things fall through, I'll step out. He's shown he'll do that. He was at practicing, then he left. So I think everybody assuming as soon as he was walking back and there's footage of him going back to practice, everyone thought it was over. All these channels everywhere were like, Jamar Chase, now that he's back, where are we drafting him? And I'm sitting here going, whoa, 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 whoa. We're not out of the woods yet. He came back in good faith again, and there's a chance that he plays week 1 in good faith. He could easily play week 1 in good faith. We don't really know. We got to pump the brakes on thinking we understand the mindset of Jamar Chase, a guy very capable of holding out or playing or, being ballsy and saying, I'll practice, and if I get hurt, I get hurt. Whereas Ayuk's like, I can't practice. What if I get hurt? This is not Jamar Chase's mentality, but we also don't know Jamar Chase's mentality because he is kind of a one of one. My guess is that in Higgins added to the injury report, but Higgins says he feels fantastic, so I wouldn't worry about the Higgins situation. But Jamar Chase, there's a chance he even plays in good faith and still wants, to be extended, and there's a good chance, he could also sit out. I'd say it's 50-50. For anybody to suggest they know, they don't know. Nobody knows. Hopefully we get news here, maybe even on this live stream. I'll keep refreshing to see if there's any news. I'll know because it'll be blasted all over the place. So we'll get you an update as soon as we can. But don't think that we're out of the woods yet, because we're really not. This is something that still could evolve into a good situation or a bad situation. DeAndre Hopkins is playing through the MCL tear. I kind of alluded to that a little bit. MCL tears are pretty painful. When I tore my knee, I tore the MCL. Again, the MCL on the knee is this ligament right here, and it's very thick. It's very, very painful. It's probably the most painful part about an ACL tear when it's included in the ACL tear. And if you tear your knee, you usually do tear that MCL with it. You can sometimes tear your LCL. Your LCL is very long. It goes down into really into like the lower leg, and it's really hard to snap your LCL or your MCL in half. Usually you're tearing it, just extremely tearing it, and if you tear it to the degree you need surgery, then it's repairing it, but it never truly usually snaps in half. The ACL snaps like a rubber band right in half. The PCL, those have to be taken out, and they drill a hole into this bone, cut a window out of your patellar tendon that has a hole there after they take the piece out, and they drill that in and make your new ACL out of your patellar tendon, out of the window that they cut out. Think of it like when someone gets like a tongue ring and they poke a hole through the tongue, and then they take it out eventually. The tongue will grow back, right? It'll connect, and then it'll reseal. Your patellar tendon's the same way. They figured out a way to do this. They used to take cadaver ACLs from people that have passed away and put those in, which is pretty gross. But then it doesn't need time to like turn into a ligament, essentially. Because this is a tendon, patellar tendon, and these are ligaments, these are hard material in a sense compared to this tendon. So the patellar tendon, when they cut that little piece out and put it in here, there's a certain time frame that it kind of dies and turns into a ligament, or at least it resembles the ligament. And so there's a whole lot that goes on with the ACL. The MCL is a very painful injury to this day. I tore my ACL. God, it's been well over a decade. And when it gets cold and the weather changes, my MCL still hurts to this day. It aches. It really hurts. I could push on it and it hurts. When I cut, it hurts. Hopkins is going to struggle, and this came from his own mouth too, going to struggle with this pain for a year. And this is an older man, an older player that's not some young spring chicken that's going to be fine the next year. Hopkins is on his way down. This is the Julio Jones last hurrah, when everybody thought Julio was going to have a really good year, his final year that he really was really bad when he took his absolute sharp decline. There were about 20-30, if you remember, 20-30% of the fantasy football population was like, Julio is going to be good. He's got one more year left. He's going to be great. And then we were like, no, he's not. That feels like Hopkins. This MCL knee injury is going to be probably the thing that is his demise, unfortunately. If it's not, I'll take a lap on it, but I have a feeling that this guy, Ziggy, how old is DeAndre Hopkins?
DeAndre Hopkins is 32 years old.
32 years old,
born on
guys.
June 6,
32 years old. It's not likely. It's not likely. With an MCL tear that he's not over. It's a tear, an MCL tear. He said it happened a month ago or a little like 5 weeks ago. So it's not something everybody's feeling like it just happened and there's a new tear. No, this is he's as healthy as he can be at this moment. And he's going to play through it at 32 years of age. Do you know what this means? This means it's Calvin Ridley's season. Calvin Ridley in a pass-heavy offense. The Titans are not the Titans of last year. This is a new regime. They're going to be airing it out, whether Levis is accurate or not. They're going to be throwing. And I do think the Titans will be down a lot. So in the third and fourth quarter, Ridley, who should have got better usage, they absolutely misused him. It was an absolute gross misuse of resources over in Jacksonville. Ridley's going to be used properly, be fed properly, and have tons of targets. This guy, I don't think he lasts long. We'll see. Ridley season in full effect. And the last piece of news is Kyle Pitts. This is not bad news, so don't worry. Kyle Pitts limited in practice Wednesday and full on Thursday with a hamstring injury. According to the report, he told reporters, and this is a beat writer for the Falcons, he told reporters he'd be 100% on Sunday. Whether he'll actually be 100% or not, he could be exaggerating it. Players oftentimes do that. And he's had a lot of adversity, so he's probably very much wanting to have a great season. So he's doing everything he can to get out there. And I hope he doesn't push it, but it sounds like he's going to be okay. Hope he doesn't push it and turn this thing into a big thing. Super chats are here. I'm going to put them on screen, and we're going to go through them one by one until I clear them out. Then I'm going to go get some breakfast, and then we'll, of course, be back if there's any sort of news, breaking news. And we'll be back, right before. I'll probably go live a little early today to get a jump on the game. So hang tight for that. That'll be a fun pregame show. Kyle, appreciate your 20 or your $10 hauler. Demetrius, appreciate you. I'm going to drop your super chats on screen and answer them in order in which they're received. Riff, appreciate your super chat as well, young man. Garrett dropping a super chat. Garrett, thank you, pal. Shaggy coming in with a $10 wad. Shaggy to the moon. Congrats last night, by the way, to anybody that had Rashee Rice, anybody that had Xavier Worthy, anybody that had Isaiah Likely. Just congrats. What a great start. What a great night. Even though Mahomes didn't have the game I know he will have. Even though Mahomes, who is one of the best buy lows in fantasy, even though he didn't explode, he still had a good game. He had a 40-yard run called back. A lot of things could have happened better for him. The interception was a deflected pass. I'm not concerned about Mahomes at all, but we still got a heavy dose of what's in store for us via the KC offensive machine. And I fully believe that, man, imagine if Mahomes had a 3-touchdown game like he was fully capable of. It was a tough defense, too. This is probably the toughest matchup he'll have all year. We talked about that last night. Imagine if he has a 3 or 4 touchdown game. What are Worthy, Hollywood, and Rashee Rice going to do when Mahomes has 345 and 3 or 4 touchdowns? I absolutely love early morning content. Thank you again, Alex, for dropping that super chat. Early morning content loves you back. Alex, for this $4 hauler, $5 hauler, Superflex, my QBs are Mahomes, JD5, Young. Drop Young for Fields. Thanks to you, Smitty. Let's see, what did you say? Also traded Monty for Rice. Thanks to you, Smitty, to the moon. Wow, bro. Congrats on that. Rice is going to the moon, bro. He's going to the moon. Congrats on that. Absolute amazing news. To Mars. Okay.
To Mars.
Proud of you, pal. Proud of you. I don't know about this yet. I want to say yes, but let's wait. Can you keep your finger over the button? The problem is if you miss it and somebody else picks him up. Dropping Young is in Superflex. Can you drop your kicker right now and just pick him up and then make a last second kicker move? I'd rather you do that, bro. I think that's the smartest move to make, to be honest with you. Mad says drop Knicks now for Fields. If it's a super flex, I'm again gonna tell you both, drop your kicker. I'd drop your kicker or your defense, whatever you got to do to hold both Young and then make a trade. Somebody will come get Young. You could trade Bryce Young to somebody to do a small upgrade somewhere. Kyle, you said $20 hauler, so let's make it a reality. Look, Howard drops 20. Howard wants the early morning money cannon. The early morning money cannon for you, pal. Okay? Let's wake some people up in the house.
Alert. Super chat alert.
Howard, appreciate you dropping the super wattage. And then this super chat here. Good morning, Smitty, Kelsey, and Andrews. Panic. Go watch last night's episode to get a big heavy dose of that. Yes, they're both in the panic chamber. I opened that up and showed everybody just a minute ago. Kelsey's the one where like I'm kind of buying at the right price, and I'm certainly not getting rid of him. Andrews, I'm getting rid of him the first chance I get, and there's total panic there. Kelsey's like just buy low or hold. That's really the advice. There's still opportunity for him. $10 hauler. This is a moonshot to Rick. So let me repeat myself and be abundantly clear. Andrews, total panic. Likely is the better player. Andrews is older. We've never seen him bounce back. He's injury prone. Lamar looked pretty bad. He seemed to connect well with Likely though, and Likely so good. You know, even a bad pass, he'd come back, adjust. He's just Ron Navy said it. He's like a receiver. Yeah. So Kelsey, buy low or hold. I'm not afraid to buy low on Kelsey. I said it last night. You know, it's maybe a good opportunity. $10 hauler, 12-team PPR starters are Hurts, Achane, Warren, St. Brown, Neighbors, Rice, Ridley, and Njoku. Benches, Deontay, Chase Brown. I keep wanting to say Chris Brown. Trade offer, Walker and Charbonnet for my Neighbors and McLaughlin. I'd probably take Walker and Charbs, bro. I think that's a really good trade. I do like Neighbors quite a bit. This could go either way, I believe, but I think I like that if you're wanting to potentially get that RB. I get it. $10 shot. And can we get a chat vote on that? Does the chat rather have Neighbors and redraft or Walker and Charbs? Walker, it could be we regret this coming out of week 1 with Walker, or it's game on and you'll never be able to buy Walker low. You know? So, Eddie, appreciate you. $10 hauler. Smitty, rate my team. Dak, JD5, Walker, Ford. Speak of the devil. Rashad White, get rid of him. Najee, get rid of him. Not for a ham sandwich, but at the right price. Guys, we got how many people we got in here? We got 606 people in here. We've got 26,950 subscribers. 50 more, which we could probably accomplish on this live stream. I guarantee you that 30% of the 606 watching right now, hit the thumb up too, have not subscribed, because I don't know why people just leave it out there. They're like, I'll search for it every time. If you do your part, 607 of you, we could hit 27K on the show, and I'll adjust this live on the show. You'll be a part of history. Okay, we're growing this thing fast, and I can't thank you enough. All of you are amazing. To the Mars.
To Mars.
Every one of you to Mars. Every single one of you. I don't care if you don't have any experience going to space. We're sending you there. This is a good team. Get rid of Najee. Get rid of Rashad White. Not for a ham sandwich. And DJ Moore. That's perfect. DJ Moore and White. DJ Moore and Najee. You can get a Jacobs or higher, really. Jacobs, you probably need to get more. Not Najee and DJ Moore for Jacobs. I probably would do it myself, but I'm crazy. Kyron, Achane, you should be able to get one of those guys, maybe an ATN, maybe a JT, maybe a Barkley. I would throw everything at those players in that combination. And honestly, like, I'd throw in a little more. One of the RBs with DJ Moore, I'd throw in a little bit more if I needed to get it done. Chris with a $10 hauler. Appreciate you, Chris, going to the freaking moon.
To the moon.
With your 10 wad, man. Appreciate you. Trade ideas. $40 buy-in, 10-man league. Herbert is your QB1. Oh, JD5 is your QB1. Herbert's your QB2. Not bad. Garrett Wilson, AJ Brown, like it. 2 running backs, Kyron and JT. Wow, you got a really strong running back stable, my guy. And your QBs aren't bad. I mean, I love JD5 a lot, and Herbert's not a bad 2 at all. Your running back, your wide receivers are both first rounders in a 12-man league. Like, you got a lot of talent. JT and Kyron are both borderline first rounder. This is a really good team, bro. Rice, oh my God. Kyle Pitts, fantastic. Debo, yeah, now I'm calling cap. There's no way you got Debo. There's no way you got Debo and Evans on your bench with Pittman in a 10-man league. I'm calling cap, Chris. This doesn't make sense. Doesn't compute. I think you typed in 10. You meant to type in 8. Chris, be completely honest with me, Chris. Be honest with me. Did you type 10 just so you didn't get... You just wanted to look a little bit better? Just be honest with me. You want to look a little bit better, and so you wrote 10. You know it's 8. I'm sorry. Yeah, you know it's 8 or it's 9, and you wrote 10. There's no way you got 10 in a 10-man league. You got these guys. That's insane. That's insane. If it is true, I'm probably trading. I'm trading the entire bench for quarterback upgrades, Chris. You're trading Herbert and Debo for a freaking Mahomes who just had a bad game, according to most people. And so throw that entire bench at the Mahomes owner. Throw that entire bench at the freaking Hurts owner. Throw the entire bench at that Josh Allen owner. Throw the entire bench. I mean, not all of it at once if possible. You trade just Evans if you can to try and get Stroud. What did he end up answering? I just wonder. Look, if this has happened before, somebody goes, "Yeah, I just didn't want to put 8-man and get made fun of." So I put 10. It just really got a gut instinct that that's not a 10-man league. I just don't think it can be. Chris, look at Chris dropping a $2 hauler. Keep cooking. New to your Patreon. Love it, says Chris. Chris, I wasn't calling you a liar, by the way. I'm merely playing with you a little bit. I'm playing with you a little bit. I do think it doesn't add up, but it could be just because you're playing with a bunch of Worried Williams. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate you, my guy. Chris to the motherfucking moon. $10 from Shaggy.
To the moon.
Where's Chris at? Did Chris answer? $10 hauler. Smitty, half PPR, super flex. I have Mahomes, JD5, Knicks. Should I drop Brian Thomas Jr. for Fields? Superflex? I mean, bro, you can't leave Fields on the waiver wire in Superflex. I would say, I don't know if I'd drop Brian Thomas Jr., but geez, can you drop your kicker for now? It's my advice of the day. Drop your kicker. You got plenty of time to figure it out. Drop your kicker. Pick up Fields. And so be it. You find another kicker. Maybe you get the same kicker back after he passes through waivers. Don't leave Fields out there another second, especially if people start talking about this news more. But I think BT, can you give me another guy or two? I can't imagine BT's your worst player, bro. I just can't imagine. It can't be, bro. It can't be. Mason and Wright on waivers. He shouldn't be on waivers, Garrett, because I've told you to pick up Wright. What is he doing on waivers? Do I drop Shakir? Of course you drop Shakir. The fact that you have... Oh, you don't have HN. The fact that he's out there. He's on the waiver wire, preemptive waiver wire show, and he's sitting there at the top spot. You just saw what happened with my top spot recommendation, likely. So let's go ahead and wrap this up and get right. Drop Shakir, do it live. If you had BT or, you were considering dropping him, I could understand where the concern's coming from. But not Shakir. Shakira. Drop him. Drop Shakira. Smitty nailed the Isaiah likely take. Smitty, can I get a got him? You absolutely can, pal.
Got him.
Jeez, boy, did we get him, Riff. We got him good. We got him real good. Demetrius with the $2 hauler says Burrow or Tua. I lean Burrow, but, bro, that could go either way. Non-PPR, I have Tyreek Hill. It's a good way to lay off. And in non-best ball, it's not always great to stack. But if Tua has a bad game, at least you have Burrow doing well. And Burrow probably does well anyway. Can I get a chat vote on that, Burrow or Tua? I'm not sitting Burrow. Burrow's just a better player. $10 hauler from Howard. This is his first super chat.
To the moon.
Howard, appreciate you dropping the wattage. Thanks to my mods for being here. I know it's early. 1K budget, Superflex, Josh Allen and AR5 as my starters, but Daniel Jones is a backup. How much do I bid on Fields? Oh, why is he out there in Superflex? Damn it. I thought I did my job. I thought we had covered this, that he was picked up. I know everyone was thinking Russ is going to get in there, but like we knew Fields would still be used in packages, and he's still, I would say, in Superflex, I mean, at least half your, if he's starting, you almost got to wait till you hear word. If he's starting, probably half your fab. It could be a full load drop situation. Does anybody think they would drop half the fab now on the spec that Fields is starting? Disregard last super chat, says Kyle. Why are we disregarding the last super chat, Kyle? Why are we doing that? Would you rather have McConkey or BT? BT. I don't trust Harbaugh at all, bro. At all. And this $10 hauler here from Dallas.
To the moon.
Appreciate you, Dallas. I think we might have a $20 hauler, too. This is from Bob from accounting. We haven't had a message from Bob from accounting in a while. Missed my first super chat. 10-team Superflex. Allen and AR5 as my QBs and Danny Dimes. Okay, so, yeah. Kyle, I'm going to go ahead and say, chat, what are we thinking? What are we bidding on Fields? I think we wait. I think you wait until there's word. We should have word today. I think today or tomorrow, and I would probably put like a half of a full load drop, if he's named the starter. If not, I try and slip in there and get him for like maybe 20%, 15% in a super flex. I think a lot of people are going to have this idea though, so you know, I don't know. Howard, thank you for the super chats, bro. Appreciate you. And then Dallas, 12-man league, Stroud, Nix, CMC, HN, Corum, Mostert, Allen, Diggs, Neighbors. Look at this team. Thinking of CMC for Kyron and a number 2. Any suggestions? Yeah. I need to know who the Kyron owner has, bro. But like Kyron and Tank Dell almost get it done for me, and I know that's crazy to people. Kyron and Rice got it done, but you can't get that anymore. Kyron and DK, Kyron and Devontae Smith, Kyron and a upgrade from a mediocre to good tight end to McBride. Kyron and a Mahomes who slumped. Maybe he has Mahomes. I don't know if he does. And then you've got your quarterback, which is Stroud. Like, I don't know. Look, you can doubt Mahomes all you want. Anybody out there off of one game, that's fine. I'm not. He's my supernova. I'm not changing it when he played very well. Mahomes won the game. Okay. Thinking of CMC. Yeah. Dallas, bring me the guy's team, though, you know, so I can help you if you give me the list of wide receivers. $20 hauler from Bob from accounting. Bob, let's give you a $20 super chat celebration, my guy. Appreciate you dropping this early in the morning. Bob to the moon. I miss Bob. I haven't seen Bob in a while.
Alert. Super chat alert. Alert. Super chat alert.
The dollar's still flying. GM, good morning, Smitty. 10-team, half PPR, 1 flex. Mahomes, Caleb, HN, Walker, Corum, Ford, Warren. Tyreek, Rashee Rice, Dell, BT. Rashee Rice needs his own video. We have him inside the Mahomes video. But
It's Chiefs season. Mahomes is scoring 45 plus touchdowns. Let them cook.
He needs his own video, though. Rashee Rice needs his own video. Maybe he's driving a car. Maybe he's driving on the freeway and he's driving the DeLorean and he goes back in time and becomes an absolute good boy that doesn't ever put himself in the position he put him in. Getting in the DeLorean, doing the drive in the right way. Back to 1985. Take him back to 1985. Dell, BT, Adunze, Andrews, Likely. I'm glad you got Likely. Drop who for right? Good question, my guy. I'm dropping. Jeez. Your worst player, unfortunately, is either BT or Jalen Warren. I try and make a trade. If Wright is out there free right now, like you don't have to put a bid on him, it's first come, first serve. I'm going to tell you to do what everybody else is doing. It's Friday. It's early Friday. I drop my kicker. I buy myself some time, and I send offers out there like crazy to do 2-for-1s in order to make room. Past that, looking at your roster, I mean, your worst player has to be, unfortunately, BT, a rookie who I love, and I don't want you to cut him, or Warren, who's a backup that I love that could get in there and take the job. Chat, who is he cutting, BT or Warren, or does he just leave? Does he just leave right on waivers? The chat might tell you to leave right on waivers, but he's definitely a league winner, so it's a tough call. It's not an easy call. We're definitely making a Rasheed Rice getting in the car, the DeLorean, and going 88 miles an hour. Not 120, 88. Mason, Garendo are on waivers. My benches: Cousins, Benson, Corum, Chase Brown, Whittington, Sinnott. Drop Javon Baker, assuming it's redraft. And probably, as much as I want to say keep him, Whittington, I like him a lot, but injury strikes, you pick him up immediately. Whittington's going to be on the waiver wire videos at some point this year. 2 flex, pick up another QB, JD5 Rice. Okay, nice team. Bench. Fields, Nix on waivers. I pick up Bo Nix for safety, but like Fields is the high risk, high reward. You know what I'd probably do? Pick up Nix now, wait on the news, bro, and the moment news is breaking that Fields is starting, I might swap him, but Nix is long term though. What if Fields goes in and then comes out? If he has a mediocre day, they could certainly go to Russell Wilson again. So Nix is safer. James says, missed my $10 hauler. Did I, James, or was I just not there yet? Because we got a load of them there, pal. They're right here. Here it is. I got it. I moved you ahead because I know you're an impatient Ian. Full PPR, just traded my Mahomes, McLaurin, and Chase Brown for Burrow and Cup. I'm not going to say you crushed it, bro. I love Mahomes. You panicked. You're a panicked Peter right now, James. You panicked. You took one game and you made a determination. Do I look like the kind of guy that feels like Mahomes is still not the best quarterback at the end of the year? Mahomes is going to tear it up. I don't know that Smitty approved this. I'm going to say it's close. It could go either way, but I don't necessarily like the move. I love Mahomes, bro. I love that people are doubting him already. One freaking game, bro. One freaking game, and we're already just pulling the plug on the Mahomes. He did good. He caught a pass. He threw a pass to himself. He had a drop. There's a touchdown strike that didn't get pulled in by Worthy. There was some amazing runs that happened that went all the way to the end zone that may not the next game. There's drops that happened. There's a tip pass. There was an INT. There's a 40-yard run that got called back. There's a lot of things that happened. Mahomes was fine. I don't think I would have done that. $10 haul, but it's not a horrible trade. You got good value, at the same time. But no kickers in my league. Terry, Rice, Ridley, Coleman, BT, Gibbs. Look at the squad. Mahomes, 85. And Knicks, drop anyone for Fields or stand down. Of this list you're giving me, I don't think that you can drop anybody, so I'm going to say negative on that one. Maybe you drop Knicks, like I said earlier, the moment something happens, you could potentially pick them up and go in that direction. Thank you, James, for the 2 super chats, by the way, pal. And don't take it so hard. We might have differing opinions. 12-man, full PPR, 2 flex, 1... Josh Allen, CMC, Kamara, Debo, Rice, Conklin, Montgomery, and Amari Cooper, Chase Brown. I like the idea of trading away Monty and Amari Cooper right now for, let's call it, Kyron, Achane. I would trade Amari Cooper and Kamara for a Kyren or an Achane. A Barkley. I'd more so do the Amari Cooper and Monty for Barkley. I kind of like Kamara and Monty near the same. There's a risk to them both, but I think that's the move. And you pull that off, you're at 8.4, 8.3 right now. It's a good team. I mean, I'd say like 7.9 just to give you a little motivation to go out there and do your worst. Do your worst. Dallas says the guy who has Kyren, his wide receivers are Olave, Ridley, Higgins, and Brian Thomas Jr. So I would want Olave. Higgins and Kyren for CMC, I think I want more. I think I want Olave and Kyren. I would do that. Make sure you're getting Corum, though. Please. Romario, 12-man, Hurts, Pacheco, JT, Benson, great. Okay, Kupp, Coleman, Pittman, Leggett, Kittle. Good team. Moves you should make. I don't think I want you trading any of your big guns, so unless you can turn... Yeah, you can't really do anything, bro, until Benson or if Eckler gets value back or Singletary. You don't have anything to really change. Unless I would take JT and dilute him into two players, one of which I think is, like, you take JT and turn him into Achane or Kyren and get like a Dell. Boom, smash, home run. So go to those owners and see if they got that kind of receiver. And you could always throw back a potential player. Maybe they've got a player like Debo and you give them Pittman. Or maybe they have MHJ and you give them Pittman, and then you're able to swap out JT for Kyren or Achane, like something creative like that for one of those RBs. I just think there's an opportunity to go down 2 or 3 running back spots from JT's ADP value, and turn it into a upgrade at wide receiver. Drop Corum for Wright. Don't have Kyren. I think if I need Wright, if I've got Mostert or I've got Achane, I think it makes a ton of sense to trade Corum in for Wright. Even though we like both of them, they're both potential league winners. Trade Dak for Tua plus Rome. I would rather have Dak Prescott, I think, in a redraft. Because he's proven. Tua led the league in yards and still was not close to as high of a scoring quarterback. Trade Dak for that's the one I just read. So I'm going to say keep Dak. Dunze's a rookie, and I like him a lot, but I don't know if I like him that much. Full PPR, just traded my Mahomes for McLaurin. I read that one already. Let me read it again. Mahomes and McLaurin and Chase Brown for Kupp, Burrow, no. I hate it even worse now. I don't even... damn, James. Why'd you give up on Mahomes? Why did you let one game make you think he was going to James. AR5, Henry, Jacobs, Nico, AJ Brown, Ferguson, Rice, Rome, JMO. Henry, I don't like Henry. I don't like Henry. Why do we do this? AR5, Henry, and you can't even trade JMO yet. JMO or Spears or Chuba maybe gains value coming off of week 1. And then maybe you trade Henry. Like, you got to wait for week 1 to fully play out. I'm not trading Jacobs. I'm not trading Nico. I'm not trading AJ Brown. I'm not trading Rice. I'm trading Henry. Maybe your best bet is, let's say, Jacobs or Kyren or Achane or Barkley or JT or ETN or Kenneth Walker struggles this week. Try Kenneth Walker now. Henry did score. Maybe a box score Bobby looks at Henry's game and says, hey, he scored a touchdown. Like, Kenneth Walker now, all those other running backs consider going after if they have a slump week. You need to find one of those guys I just named that has a bad week 1 after week 1's over and do a sort of like, I'll trade you my bad performing player for, and Henry did okay for your player, and then you believe in the player you're getting though. $10 holler from Patrick.
To the moon.
My boy. He says, Smitty. Fields or Jaden Daniels week 1? We're going Jaden Daniels, and Fields isn't a lock yet, but I assume you mean if he's starting. So I'm going to go JD5. JD5 is going to ball out, bro. JD5 is one of the better passing quarterbacks in the National Football League, bro. Dolphins and all-pro cornerback Jalen Ramsey have agreed on an extension, a 3-year, $72 million deal. Woo! 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 Let me put that up on the screen. That's a good one. Damn. It's a lot of dough. It's a lot of dough. Dolphins are trying to make waves this year. Dolphins have a good shot at kind of doing, I think, what the Bucs did last year. Slipping in, looking solid, playing really good football, could potentially win a round or two or whatever. Report, appreciate you. Let's see here. $10 hauler. Any trade suggestions? Starters are Kyler, Mixon, Chuba, Jettas, Garrett Wilson, Waddle, Rice, McBride, benches, Warren, McLaughlin. Yeah, I'm trying to get rid of Mixon, bro. I mean, your running backs that's struggle bus bad, but your receivers are really good. Kyler's good. I don't know why you drafted Mixon and Chuba though as your starters. Warren's better probably than, but he's not in there yet. Let's go Mixon. We're gonna bank on Warren stepping up eventually for you, right? Mixon and probably, I don't know what you can do though. I don't want you to trade like maybe Waddle and Mixon for Kyron or Achane. Waddle or Mixon for Kyron or Achane, and I'd consider Barkley. I'd consider JT obviously, and see if you can pull that off. Waddle and Mixon for one bigger player, and then you still got Garrett Wilson and JJ. You at least got a stud running back. Then I start to like your team a lot more. I think that team looks a lot better that way. Fields or Jaden Daniels, week 1, high stakes again. JD5. I don't know if I finished talking about that, but JD5. And Pio Mai, one of the best horses in the game, horse racing. Smitty needs some advice on a trade. Sending Mixon, Devontae Smith, DJ Moore, and next year's second and third rounds. Who cares? Unless those are like redraft, or veteran picks. You know what I mean? If they're rookies, I'm fine. For Saquon and Garrett Wilson. So you're sending Mixon, Devontae Smith, DJ Moore, and next year's. Yes, I'm going to take Garrett Wilson and Saquon. There's some pros and cons to it from a dynasty perspective for sure. But I definitely think that's a pretty good trade. This one right here from Thomas. 10 out of 12 teams already have 2 QBs. Wait. What is Thomas? What's the question? I don't remember. I don't remember, Thomas. Let's see. QB, JD5 Rice. Add another QB. What's the question? Fields or Knicks on waivers. Okay. 10 out of the 12 teams already have 2 QBs. I mean, people pick up multiple quarterbacks, though, Thomas. I still drop my kicker, grab them, and then think about it. You know what I mean? Advise yourself some time, Thomas. You got to buy yourself time. You don't buy yourself time, you're going to potentially, lose them. Started Worthy in my 2 flex and benched him over Dell. Started Worthy in my 2 flex and benched him over Dell in my single flex. Okay. Yeah. Look, I'll be honest with you. I had Dell over Worthy in one league, and I have Worthy over Dell in another. I split it because I didn't want to be sitting there miserable, and I'm not now because I know I got Dell. Dell could do just as well as Worthy. Just as well as Worthy. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Did we get a trade done in the Marsman League? I don't know if we did. Oh, did we do a trade in the Marsman League? I think. Look, someone offered a really good 2-for-1 trade. Travis, did you reject that one? All right, let's see here. We got any other super chats? I think we're good. 759 of you in here. Only 220 thumbs up. If we could pump those numbers up, those are rookie numbers. If we could get those pumped up, I'd appreciate it. 759 of you in here, and we need 40 more subscribers to hit 27K on the live stream, and I'll change the sign behind me on the good old board here. I'll change it to 27K. You can be a part of the history of this channel climbing. 40 more subscribers. I know there's a bunch of you out there that haven't subscribed yet that are watching. Dial into the show. Let's have a good old conversation.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Let's go. Let's ride. Let's see here. There's a message in the Marsman League, and it says, killed Smitty on that trade. What are we talking about? Are we talking about the old trade? I don't know what we're talking about. Oh, maybe in this other league. What are we talking about there, Mark? Oh, I didn't know. I didn't know if you were still thinking on that trade, Travis. You left to go do all the calculations, and we hadn't heard back. And then Mark Cleveland said, I got killed on a trade or something, and I thought maybe he was talking about that. And so I pulled it up, and I didn't see that a trade went through. So I don't know if Mark's just talking about the old trade.
Motion detected at the front door.
Front door. Ziggy, show me the front door. Who's at the front door? Oh, Miss Smitty's home. Ziggy, off. Okay. Phone lines open real briefly. Let's take some phone calls, and then I'm gonna jump out of here. I'm gonna go get some grub because I haven't eaten yet, and believe it or not, I haven't even slept yet. Because that's how I roll sometimes. 713 caller, you're live. 713. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Ryan from Houston, Texas.
Ryan from Houston. Ryan, what can I do for you, pal?
Hey, I got a bad question on my flex spot this week. I drafted Jaylen Warren to be kind of safer in there for at least the first couple weeks. But with that injury, I got Chase Brown, Brian Thomas Jr., or Romeo Dobbs in the flex this week. 12-man full PPR.
So BT, Chase Brown, and Dobbs?
Yeah, or Jaylen Warren, but I really don't want to play him.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a really easy call. Dobbs has been banged up. I know it's tempting because there's been good reports about him. I get it. But Warren, obviously, we're gonna hope he does, some good stuff and earns his keep soon.
Mm-hmm.
I think I agree with you. I think I'm gonna roll between these two guys, and if I had to decide, I'd probably say give me Chase Brown for now. I really like BT. I think BT's fantastic. Probably pretty safe in a way, but I think I'm gonna roll with Chase Brown. Is it full PPR, half PPR? Not that it changes my opinion too much, but is it full PPR?
Yes, sir.
Chat, can we get a vote on this? Are we going BT and full PPR or Chase Brown? I kind of want to ride with Chase Brown. He's been looking like the go-to guy. There's a lot of weird reports of people like, dude, Zach Moss is the starter. He's not the starter. Chase Brown is the starter, but they could still, even in starter and name, even in starter in terms of practice sessions, it could be one of those things where they rotate and we're pissed off. We see Zach Moss out there for like 2 straight drives or something, and we're like, what? It could happen.
That's what I'm worried about.
It could happen. But you know what else could happen? What just happened with Worthy, where we're in here celebrating after going Chase Brown to the like, you know what I mean? So I don't know. I would say BT safer. Chase Brown is a little riskier, but Chase Brown has the upside to have a 20-plus point game. BT's probably like 12 to 14 points.
Gotcha. I hear that.
But in a worst case scenario, don't you think BT's probably Chase Brown's probably getting like 10? I don't know.
That's what I thought from the beginning, But I am worried that the Patriots are going to be so bad that they might just turn it out with Zach Moss. Like I don't think he's going to be great, but if they're getting first downs with him, they might not.
I mean, it's a valid point because even Chase Brown said that Zach Moss is the between the tackle like grunt guy, and that I'm the explosive guy. I'm gonna get you the big huge rip, and that gets you excited hearing it though too. It's kind of like I don't know, bro. I'd probably say maybe we take this into the 11th hour. I think at the end of the day, I'll have an answer that's more concrete. But right now, I'm going to say lean Chase Brown. But I could change my mind.
I'll be paying attention.
All right, later, pal. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
That's tough. I think the majority of the chat voted BT though.
Motion detected at the front door.
Castro with the CMC and Cooper for Barkley and DK. I'm going to say no. I think that Castro, what I was saying earlier, still stands. You need to trade CMC for 2 players. You don't need to trade CMC and somebody in a 2-for-2 trade where you're giving back the advantage in a way. I don't like giving back the advantage, Castro. I think that once you include another player, especially at that level, not saying that Amari Cooper is my favorite player, but he's a big enough name that you're kind of like taking away that advantage. Axel, appreciate you with the $10 wad
To the moon.
young man. Phone lines are still open if anybody wants to dial in. Big fan, Smitty. Please rate my squad. I'm a fan of you, Axel. 10-man league. Dak, Gibbs, HN, Kyron, Waddle, Worthy, Laporta. I'm an even bigger fan of you now. Your stock's on the rise. In my book, pal. I hold this team. I ride this team into the sunrise, and I think it's going to take you far, my guy. I don't think you make any moves. I think you let it all, work itself out. Chase Brown maybe gets you some value. I want Dell in the lineup, though. So I guess the one thing I would tell you to work on is maybe you're upgrading Dak using Waddle or using Dell. And you put Dell or, keep Waddle in or Dell. I would go nuts with that, personally. Dell and Worthy are crafty wide receivers given your stacked team. But I do wonder if you could get rid of Chase Brown after this week if he goes nuts. Mahomes already played, so Mahomes slumped. Maybe Dak goes out, plays very well, and you can get rid of Dak and Chase Brown or Dak and Dell for Mahomes. You do that while keeping Waddle, I'm going to make you 8.8, which is the highest score I've given anybody this offseason or season. So you'd have the highest score I've possibly given out yet. Would you start Neighbors or Godwin? I'm going Neighbors. Anything can happen, but that's an easy call on the surface level for me. Flex 1, Lockett, Wicks, Michael Wilson, or Yoshi Voss in Dynasty. I'm going to go Wicks this week, pal. I really like Wicks right now. That's a pretty easy call for me. Wicks goes out there on like one drive and scores a touchdown. Like, come on. I'm unsure, should I have this trade? I think you're saying, should I have done this trade? Right here, Happy PR, I get Saquon for Jacobs and Kirk. I'd rather have Saquon. But there is, a scenario where it's dead even or Jacobs is better. Or Saquon gets hurt or something like that. Yeah, buddies. I still want to know why Mark Cleveland in the Marsman League just posted, Smitty, you lost that trade. There's no trade announced. I don't know. Is there a trade somewhere? That's why I thought Travis, he was talking about that other league. Because I'm like, why is he saying that now? I mean, we made it. The last time I made a trade was a while ago. And if some people saying I crushed Travis in the trade, and then other people saying Travis got me in the trade, like it's all over the map. You're live, 662 caller. What is your name and where are you calling from?
So, Smitty, my name's Aiden, and I'm from Ripley, Mississippi.
What's up?
I was calling because I wanted to ask. I got sniped in my draft. I took Breece Hall, number 1. And a little bit on the board, I got sniped on Braylon Allen. Would you trade somebody like a receiver, a little overpay, pay like a Jaden Reed straight up for Braylon Allen? Or
I probably would say, bro, Braylon Allen's important. You got Breece Hall, so Braylon Allen's important to you. I would probably say it's not the end of the world to trade Jaden Reed for Braylon Allen if you could get something back, but I think straight up it's too much. I think, like, if you think about where Reed's ADP was, he was going as like a wide receiver 2 in some drafts. I don't mind if you do it, but you got to get something else. You can't just trade Reed for a backup. As much as you want to have him, I don't mind the idea, the concept, but it's not close enough. You know, like, think about, like, where'd you draft Reed? Like round 5 or 6?
I got him fairly low down the board. I think it was 7. I think he fell to 7.
And where but Braylon Allen had to have gone in like double-digit rounds, bro. Like, it's not.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah. He went
like,
pretty late.
You can't, like, think about what you did. You passed on him. You passed on him. You passed on him, and then Braylon Allen went, and now you're like, oh, let me just go straight up to the 7th round and give him my 7th rounder. Well, why didn't you take him in 8? Why didn't you take him in 9 if he was that important? I like him, bro, but you need to figure out a way to get more. Like, what does he have on his bench? Like, is there a way to potentially do this trade, but you're able to get, trying to think of a player like Jalen Wright on top of it, or maybe you get a BT and you get Brian Thomas Jr., who is on waivers in some formats, it appears. Maybe you get something like that. There's got to be something that can make this balanced trade where you're giving up a player in Jaden Reed who's pretty darn good, bro.
Yeah. He's got Raheem Mostert. Do you think if I sent Reed and he sent me back Mostert and Allen, do you think that's something we could pull off?
I would do that. That's good.
Bet. Okay. All right. Well, thanks, Smitty. I appreciate it.
All right, bro. Thanks, pal. Yeah, look, Mostert's still got tremendous value. Tremendous value. How long does he last? I don't know. Not sure. All right, boys and girls, I'm out of here. Appreciate every single one of you. Oh, we got a super chat here. I'll be back later. Chris O says, check Patreon Real Team. I'll post it there. Okay, I mean, I on the live stream I can't, but if you mean like go to Patreon and look for it, I'll be on Patreon later for sure. I'll try and keep an eye out for you, Chris. For those of you that don't know, the Patreon is where it's at. I do live audio streams on there, multiple per week now going forward, and during games like tonight during the game, I'll be on the Patreon probably at least at halftime. And it's kind of like Twitter Spaces in a way. You just kind of, I'll be up on a stage in the chat, and everybody will just be chatting, and I'll be answering questions. So here's the link to the Patreon. Let me pin the link. Join my Patreon. The Patreon is like 10 live chats basically, and it looks a little something like this. Let me pull it up and show you. So there's essentially, it's an app. It's very easy to use. It's $10 a month. Cancel anytime. And essentially, there's 10 live chats. You can see them right here. And this game day lounge is where we're sitting in there during games. And when I go live in there, it'll pop up and say Smitty's live. You click it, and it's an audio live stream. And you just listen to it. And then I read all the chats, and you guys might ask start bench questions and all that. So join the Patreon. Pinned it in the live chat. It's also patreon.com/The Fantasy Football Show. I will see you all later. Thank you for my super chats. You guys absolutely rock. I appreciate every single one of you. I work for you. Rasheed Rice season. Wild Wild West season.
Want it.
Ty says here because of your likely prediction. Thank you, Ty. Appreciate you showing up. Hit that subscribe button. We're 30 subscribers away from 27K. Is it possible the 505 of you in here, the 30 of you that haven't subscribed yet could hit subscribe and we could hit 27K on the live stream?
Wanted. The top most wanted outlaws. These outlaws are on the run. Wanted. Wanted. Wanted.
Xavier Worthy, your wide receiver from the combine.
He can't catch.
Does he have hands? Just fast.
Many say he won't make it at the next level.
Enough. Watch me. I must go back and make it right.
Xavier Worthy, he can't catch. Just fast. Just fast. Just fast.
He can't catch. He won't make it.
Catch this. Great catch. Wow, nice catch. He's not overrated catching the ball.
He can really catch.
It's Chiefs season. Mahomes is scoring 45 plus touchdowns. Let them cook.
One Tank Dell special, please. Coming right up.
Thank you.
Yes.
Kenneth Skywalker. Kenneth Lightsaber Swinging Skywalker.
Can I sponsor the KW3 video? You certainly can. $100 haulers, you get to grab one of the 2 spots that are available on these videos, and it becomes your calling card, essentially. You know, you're in the chat, you play my video, play my K Walker video. Tyler with the $2 hauler, #1 waiver for likely have Laporta, but to trade, yeah, I mean, it's a good one, bro. Unless Wright's out there forward, you know, those are good players as well. You know what I'm saying, bro? So definitely, we need like 25 more subscribers. We got 500 something people in here still. 20 subscribers and we get to 27K. Real quickly, if everybody just does their part, punches it real quick. We usually have at least 30% of any live stream, really any YouTube live stream anywhere. Usually has about 30% of people that just haven't hit the subscribe button. You hit that subscribe button right now. We're hitting 27K on the show. Appreciate you all. See you later. I'll be back if there's any breaking news. For those that don't know, if you're new to the channel, I'm live Monday through Friday, every single Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. I'm additionally live on a different live stream whenever big news breaks. And I'm additionally live most midnights to draft. During the off season, it's doing best ball drafts like Best Ball Mania. And that's promo code Smitty using Underdog Fantasy, promo code Smitty. And then during the season, and really that starts right now because the season's begun, we're doing Underdog weekly best ball drafts, which means, and I just dropped that link in the description, which means that we are going to potentially go live tonight, and we're going to be drafting a week number 1 2024 best ball team if they're still open, and you could be a part of that. I just dropped the link in the live chat. Hit that link. Code Smitty gets it done as well. They'll match your first deposit 50% up to $1,000. The minimum's only $10. They'll give you $5, but yeah, appreciate you all. And then Romario with the final super chat. And yeah, I would probably pick up Likely, bro. But, you know, it depends on if there's other players out there. But Likely's fantastic. I've never been on the show before. Pretty cool. You're the bomb, Smitty. 27K for sure today. Definitely hitting on the 8 p.m. show or before the 8 p.m. show. So thank you, Aiden. I appreciate you being here, bro. I predict a Ben Sinnott video soon. Romario, you might not be wrong on that. Ben Sinnott's one of the four, I don't know what we call them, the four henchmen. The four or five tight end breakouts that we're not going to be right on all of them, but people always ask me to predict the next TJ Hawkinson because your boy was higher on Hawkinson than anybody in the entire fantasy industry. And that's just not me running my mouth. That's actually a article that was written, and it was on all of the rankings across the entire industry that were consolidated. And TJ Hawkinson, there was not one person higher on TJ Hawkinson than I was his sophomore year when he became a top 5 breakout. And you know, people often ask me, who's the next breakout? Who's that guy, Kincaid? We rode that train last year. It's going to come more to fruition this year. And this year, it's likely. It's Goddard. And I'm not going to hit all these. These are just the rags to riches tight ends that could become top 5 tight ends. It's likely, which looks very likely to happen. Goddard, Ben Sinnott, and Luke Musgrave are kind of the go-tos for that deep territory grab that could be that potential top 5-6 breakout. Because usually every year, almost every year, some outside of the top 10 ranked tight end type of territory, somebody comes from that outside the top 10 and breaches the top 5 or 6. It looks like it's going to be likely. Looks like we smashed the hell out of that one. But I still think there's a lot of value in Ben Sinnott mid-season. He's a mid-season monster for a flipping reason. Ben Sinnott, Brock Bowers, mid-season monsters for sure. But the Revenge Tour also needs to get attention.
It's time for some revenge, baby. Revenge tour, revenge, bench tour. Revenge tour, revenge, bench tour.
All right, last 2 super chats, then we are out of here. Predict Ben Sinnott video. Oh, okay, I think I got them all done. All right, I'll see you all later. Appreciate you.